Today is about the time my roommate forgot to pay. She didn't forget. Hey everyone, it's Diamond. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a very interesting story time for you. So make sure you get some popcorn, some juice, some water, whatever you prefer to drink, and get comfortable. So this experience happened about 2 years ago. So I may be all over the place. And if I'm looking down, it's because I wrote down a sequence of events so that I'm not all over the place. So bear with me. Let's get started. Basically, 2018, I decided to move from out of the dorms and into a house. Now, I lived with two girls. One, her name was Brianna. The other one, her name was Haille. That's not their real names. Early on, before we moved in, Brianna decided to put all the bills in her name, like everything. She didn't ask me and Haille, like, oh, did you guys want to put this in your name? Like, who gonna do what? She just did it all by herself, which was fine. I mean, I didn't really care because I didn't need to mess up my credit, but we're going to talk about that in a bit. So for things like the electricity bill and the Wi-Fi bill, me and Haille would give Brianna like our portion of the bill so that she could pay it. But in August, we get to notice in the mail, and it's our electricity bill. And it says that there's like $200 due. And we're like, what? Like, so we talked to Brianna, we're like, we've been giving you the money for this already. Like, why is it saying we owe this much money? And she's like, oh, I don't know what happened. Some bull crap. And so we're just like, okay, like, it needs to be paid because we already gave you the money. Like, what are you doing with our money? So let's fast forward to about like, I don't know, probably like, this was a couple of months before we went on spring break in March. So this girl, she ends up dating this guy while she was working at Buffalo Wild Wings. And there was this girl there, and she told the girl, like, I'm gonna beat your A. And the girl goes and tells her manager. So she ends up getting fired from her job. And I don't remember how much our rent was. I think our rent was like $400 something a piece. But so me and her sitting down at the table, and I'm like working on homework and stuff. At this point, she had she dropped out of school, and she was like, oh yeah, I got fired from my job because I told this other waitress I was gonna beat her A because she was messing around with this guy she was talking to. And she was like, yeah, so I got fired, but I'm not worried about it because I already have like, what did she say? She's like, I already have $300 towards rent. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, cool, as long as you come up with the rest. And she was telling me that she was gonna come up with the rest. And she told our other roommate, Haille, that she was gonna come up with the rest as well. So every time rent was due, Haille would send out a text message. She'd be like, hey, everyone, I'm gonna be taking the rent on this and that day, so make sure you have your money ready. Now, I didn't have a car, so I was fine with giving Haille the rent, and I trusted her, so cool. I didn't have no problem. Now, Brianna also had a car, and she would say like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop off the rent on my lunch break or when I get off of work, because her job was close to the place that we had to take our rent. Now, little did we know, Brianna was not paying her rent at all. Let me get back to the whole with the girl too. She told us that she was gonna have the half. So Haille like checking in with her, like, do you got your half for the rent? You got your half for the rent? Did you get out the half? She's like, oh, I'll have it tonight. Now this is the night before rent was due. She's like, oh, I'll have it tonight. This and that person is supposed to give me the rest of it. Like, we're all good. Now, Haille talks to her the next morning. She's like, hey, do you have your half of the rent? And she's like, only got $75. How do you only have $75 and our rent is $400 something? After you already told us that you had $300, now you only got $75 towards rent the day that rent is due. Now, I already knew it was gonna be some BS because this girl has always been like a pathological liar since high school. She has always been a liar. Let me relax. I'm getting mad all over again. Y'all don't understand why I'm mad still. So she basically told her that she only got $75. Now, we're all supposed to be cool. Her and Brianna and Haille were supposed to be like best friends. And I was cool with her. So I'm like, if anything, we're all supposed to be cool. You should have been like, hey, ladies, I'm not going to have my rent this month. Like, she should have been honest with us so we could have, like, saved a little extra or just paid her half. She could have worked out something with us to where she could have paid us back later. But instead, she chose to lie to us. So I was so heated because, like, I'm only working enough really to like pay my rent, pay my phone bill, and then have a little something extra. You know, like I'm living through my broke college student days. I ain't got no money, but I can't. I'm not one of them people that's like, hey mom, hey dad, I need this and that amount of money. No, if Diamond don't got it, Diamond don't got it. No, no, no. If I don't got it, there's nowhere else to get it from. So you can see I'm still frustrated, y'all. So anyway, let me get back on track. So what happened? So yeah, so we found out she lied about that. Now me and Haille, we would hang out and stuff like that. So we planned a spring break trip with one of our other friends. Now, fast forward to the night, I think it was the day of actually, we like packing, we get ready to leave. We get a notice mail from the company we went from telling us $543 are due for rent. Well, it's due for rent, sorry. And we're like, what the? Because this girl, Brianna, had reassured us, like, I think it was like a couple weeks before, that she had took care of her portion. But no, she lied again. So I'm like heated. I'm going off because I'm like, why are you lying? And she's like, oh, I'm not lying. It must be a mistake. I did pay it. I'm going to go up there and talk to them, blah, 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 blah. So fast forward after spring break. We're going to fast forward all the way to, I think we moved out in June. So then in June, while we're moving out, a little bit before we're moving out, we get another notice in the mail. This girl owed like $1,000. And we're like, what the? Like, it's a couple, I'm going to insert screenshots of this stuff above. I should have said that earlier, but it's like a couple of, what was I about to say? It's a couple months of rent and I do because she continuously lied to us and was telling us that she was paying rent. And my thing was me and Haille, we both in school full time and we're working and we're paying our rent. This girl dropped out of school. You have all the time in the world to work a job. Why aren't you working? Let me not be in school. I would have 2, 3, 4 jobs. I got all the time in the world to make more than enough money to live comfortable. Basically, if I'm not working, I would have had more than enough money to handle my business. This girl could have had more than enough money. And when she was working at Buffalo Wild Wings, there was this other place here that's a little more fancier. And I had a friend who worked there at the time, and she told me they were hiring, and she has serving experience. So I'm like, why don't you get a job here? Like, I can help you get a job here. You know, like, you can make more money here. And she's like, no, I don't want to work there. Like, it's not my type of place. Girl, if you need money, you better do what you gotta do to get that money. I don't care. Anyway, so yeah. So this girl basically not working. Me and the other girl working, and we in school. So I'm not understanding how she not paying these bills. Like, what is you doing all day? So then, come to type it off, this girl on Twitter making plans to go on vacation and stuff. Sorry, just a little bit before we moved out, but what was that after? I don't know. But this girl was on Twitter making plans to go on trips and stuff with her friends. And I'm like, I'm like, how you making trips and you owe money for this rent? Like, you need to pay this. We're not going nowhere till we pay this. So, And she had tweeted something else. I don't remember, but I got the rest of what I said. I was like, not paying that rent is just messy. But I think this was after the fact that we moved out. This happened 2 years ago, so bear with me. So basically, where I leave off, the girl wasn't paying her rent. Oh yeah, so basically, it gets juicier. It come time to like move out of the place. It's like June, and she steps outside to me. No, I think I'm walking outside, and she's sitting on the porch, and she's like, "Oh, and yada yada yada." This dude she assigned to, we gonna call him Daquan, and she's like, "Oh, and Daquan paid that half of the rent, so you can tell him thank you." Excuse me? I need to tell who thank you? Because you need to tell him thank you. You should have been paid your half of the rent instead of tricking your money off on these dudes. This girl did not have her priorities together. Oh, so basically, let's fast forward and see if Daquan really paid the rent money that she owed. Oh, and not even that. Before we moved out, we had like divvied up like who's gonna clean what. You know, before you move out of place, you have to be able to clean things. And this girl didn't even clean what she was supposed to clean. So let's fast forward to what happened. So I believe it was in September, or was it around Thanksgiving? I think it was like September. Yeah, I think it was September. So it was like September. I move in with these new people. Now the new people that I move in with, one of them I knew her. Well, two of them I actually knew, because I have a relationship with their mom. So I knew two of them, but a few of them I didn't know like that. And I had a guy friend who helped me move in. And basically, they started making these assumptions about me and this type of stuff like that. And they said it, and they had told their assumptions to my other friend who came back and told me. So I was already feeling uncomfortable in the house. To make it all worse, I go home to Madison for the weekend to be with my family. Now, I get a text from my roommate saying, "Hey, there was an investigator who came here and he was looking for you." An investigator? Why is an investigator looking for me? I'm like, did they say anything? She's like, no, he just gave us a card and told us to tell you to give him a call. So I'm like, what the? So I instantly, there's this thing called CCAP. I don't know if it's everywhere, but in Wisconsin, you can go on this site called CCAP and you can look up your record. So I instantly, I'm like, something not right. So I look on my record. Tell me why. It basically say Diamond, Haille, what I knew another girl, and Brianna versus blah 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 blah, the management company. I'm like, oh, H-Star. This girl lied and told me that she had paid her portion of the rent. She never paid it. So basically, I instantly get to snap. I'm like, you saying that you paid this rent? You didn't pay anything, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? I did. Just lying. It's proof right there. So then, come to find out, I get a paper in the mail from a law office. And it's telling me, you need to pay this amount by this date. Otherwise, you have to show up in court. And the law office apparently was like a really good one. What was I saying? The lawyer I had met with on campus, he was telling me like it's a really good law office. They don't back down. Like you don't even want to play with them. Like they're gonna drag you through the mud. So basically, I get a notice in the mail from the law office. I'm gonna insert that above too, telling me that $1,000 is owed to this management company because this girl never paid her rent. So I sent it to the group chat that we had. Instantly gets a snapping like, oh, you said that you paid this amount. You ain't never paid it, blah, blah, blah. Like, why were you lying? It's been such a long time. And she was lying. So then, after that, she continues to lie and lie and lie and lie. So then she finally goes, oh, yeah, I didn't pay it. I'm going to call them and see if I can set up a payment plan. This girl. So basically, we texting her and we're asking her for proof that she set up a payment plan. So she sets up a payment plan with them to where she has to pay like $200 a month. So some time goes by before we hear anything else. So then I get another notice in the mail, basically telling me nothing's been paid. We still need to show up to court and this and that. So I call the collections place, and they're like, "Who is this person? This person hasn't paid anything. There's still this and that balance made. Nothing has ever been paid." And I'm getting even more heated because I'm like, "Oh my god, like I don't have any extra money. I don't have anyone who can help me. Like, what can I do?" So basically, I go on campus to the legal clinic and I meet with the lawyer, and he basically like CCAPs her, looks at her record. He's like, "I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's no way that you're gonna get any money from this girl. This girl's already had lawsuits with other people. She owes this and that much money to these people. Her wages are already being garnished by this and that person. Like, you're never gonna see a dime from this girl." It's like, your best bet is to just pay it off. He's like, "I've tried to help other students against this law office. They wouldn't even work out payment plans with them. They just want all of their money. Like, you just need to give them their money." And I was like, "Well, can I sue her and get my money back? Is there anything that I can do?" And he's like, "Well, technically, because you guys were under one lease, you are all legally responsible for the money owed to them." And then what else did he tell me? And then he told me, he was like, "You want to pay them off. You don't want them to sue you, because if they do, this is gonna be on your record." It was like 10 years plus. "This is gonna be on your record if you don't pay them." And I'm like, "I don't have any extra money." And he's like, what else he telling me? Basically, he just told me I was screwed and I need to give them their money because ain't no way around it. So basically, I'm going in on her. It's not helping. I'm going in on Twitter because she's still planning trips with her friends. She's still going out to hookah bars, to the bar, to the club, spending money that she could have been using towards her rent. All this time has went by. This has been an issue since March. You've had more than enough time to make payments on this thing. Even if it was small payments, all that time went by, you could have knocked it out the way. So basically, fast forward to the court date. Me and Haille are the only two to show up to court. This girl don't even show up to court. So I'm talking to, I don't know what's called. We're going to call him the judge. So I'm talking to the judge and I'm like, "Is there anything we can do? Like, the person who actually owes this money is not here. Is there any way that me and Haille cannot be responsible for this?" And he's like, "No, you guys are all legally responsible because you were under one lease. But remember how I mentioned the investigator came to my house? The investigator was whatever you call those people who serve you papers, the summons papers." And he's like, "Here's your summons papers. We have sent people to your houses and your jobs, and we weren't able to reach you guys. We also did the same for Brianna, and we couldn't reach her. So we need to have you contact Brianna and tell her to go get the summons paper. Otherwise, it's an extra fee for her not picking up the summons paper because what do you say? Because of there's a publishing fee. They have to put your names in the newspaper." So I'm getting more frustrated, and he was telling me that basically we could try and talk to the law offices and work out some type of payment plan with them, but we're gonna have to make these payments on time, and we have until a certain date to make these payments. And it was until like June or May, I don't remember. He's like, "You guys have until a certain time to make these payments, otherwise you have to show up in court again." So he said, like, your best bet is for you guys to just divide up the amount and put it behind you. So I'm already frustrated because I already know that the Haille was not going to help with anything. And so I was just finally like, you know what? I'm just going to have to whatever I was trying to say. I'm just going to have to stick it up. Suck it up. My bad. I'm just going to have to suck it up and pay this amount because no, she's not gonna pay it, and I'm tired of relying on her. And first of all, I don't even have anyone who can I have people in my family who could credit, but nobody's gonna be my co-signer. That was not gonna happen. So I needed my own good credit, my own good rental history, because I didn't have anything to fall back on. I don't have that type of cushion in my life. So basically, I think the other girl texts her, and she tells her, like, hey, can you please go pick up these summons papers? Like, don't even worry about the rest. Just go get the papers. And also, Haille had messaged Brianna's parents and told them what was going on. And they were like, oh, okay, we'll talk to Brianna. We're sorry she's putting you guys through this. That ain't changed a thing. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse. But basically, that ain't changed a thing. What was I going to say? Yeah, that ain't changed a thing. So then, fast forward. Brianna still ain't go pick up them papers. That's all she had to do was pick up them papers. And so I said, I think Haille told her, like, do you need a ride or something? Like, I'll give you a ride to go pick up the papers. Like, what's going on? All you gotta do is pick up the papers. This girl did not pick up the papers. So then it was even more an extra fee. And she still ain't make payments. So basically, I paid, it was about $1,000, and I think I paid around like $700 to basically take care of it. Or was it, I think it was like 2 payments of $365. Y'all can do the math. So basically, I ended up paying on it. And yeah, I was going down on her ass all the time for not paying her portion of the rent, because it's frustrating when people just go out and kick it when they have responsibilities instead of taking care of what they're supposed to take care of. Moral of the story: if you're gonna live with somebody, see if you can get separate leases. Do not sign one individual lease with anyone. Please don't do it. And understand, this is why people don't want to be your co-signer, because of things like this. So, what did we learn?
Here, individual lease. Individual lease.
So basically, it has been a year now, and I still haven't seen a dime of my money back from Brianna. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends so that they may learn something valuable. See you next time.